Welcome. Today we're going to discuss some syncretism via the whiteboard, and just want to go through some of the basics of the true cosmology that is the foundation of all religions. And of course, some of the basic foundations and more in-depth aspects have already been covered by Santos Bonacci, Bill Donahue, Jordan Maxwell, and many other greats, George Carey, Alvin Boy Kuhn, Thomas H. Burgoyne, and we just wanted to dive in really quick and take a quick look and glance at some of the deeper meanings we can contrive through some of just the basics. So, of course, we have the sine wave. And the sine wave represents the sun's path on the ecliptic and each energy that it gives off in its approximate area. So every time the sun and the planet is getting its energies from Aries, we have spring starting in March, then Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and that is considered the spirit world or the realm of immortality because it's the spring and summer months and the most elevated states of consciousness, which is a symbol of the spirit realm, which is above ether, which is above fire, which is above air, the mediator, and water, the soul aspect, forming the earth. So the spirit goes through various phases of becoming dense and condensing and then becoming subtle again. So our main starting point, yes, Aries is the child of the zodiac and represents the start. But remember, we don't start in the physical realm. Our first aspect starts beyond the physical and the spirit. So we're actually born in spirit, go through these aspects as we descend into the underworld or the mortal world. Now the underworld is actually the physical realm. The physical realm is a state of inertia for the soul, and the ether and spirit, or the fiery aspect of the soul, come into contact with the watery nature and the physical nature of the body. It creates a reaction, which creates a duel of polarities, or an inner battle between good and evil. Now, your inner spirit is supposed to conquer, utilizing the fire to evaporate the animal soul and turn it back into the transcendental soul. So once you're in the spirit world, you descend into the physical realm, the underworld, experience various, you could call it, physical life is kind of a dark night of the soul in and of itself, just because the soul is enveloped in gross matter that needs to be spiritualized. However, when you're born into the physical world, you do have to take into consideration the symbolicness of Aries, and that is marked as the transcendental spiritual beginning, or the second birth, or the spiritual birth. See, in the ancient times of the Brahmins, one was born into the physical world, or said to die, and then resurrect, meaning twice born, meaning out of the animal nature, the spiritual nature is born, or regained, hence like a second birth. So we're always going through these different adjustments within the world clock, as well as our internal spiritual clock. Not only, most would indicate this as the time of physical birth, and then here is death and resurrection, but looking at it from another perspective, we can see the spirit world being the summer and spring signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and then the physical realm or mortal life, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Pisces. So, and then physical life being resurrected in Aries, the spring of resurrection, because as the sun or the inner soul dies to the physical realm, is crucified on the cross of matter, which is the four elements, the physical at times overpowers the spirit, it seems, but the inner spirit, or the inner I am, always triumphs. And we get words from the physical world, the matter, the mother, the tomb, the womb, the room, is the divine matrix that actually allows us to have self-consciousness. It's almost as if we had a hypersense of awareness in the spirit world when we were mere essences, and we had to descend into the physical realm, biting of the apple of duality, to have a sense of self, as the physical matter is actually the womb for the individualized soul. Before, you were not individualized, now you're individualized. So you're in the womb, the great mother. The physical world of earth, heart and earth are the same word, and it is the final outcome of the elements. So you take spirit as its highest form, and its other polarity or negative polarity would be matter. So spirit, ether, fire, air, water, and earth are actually all the same substance, just different rates of expression. And same with the zodiac. We have all 12 zodiac within us. We have all 12 different rates of expression, but we have enhanced aspects of ourself due to where we're born and where we take our first breath, in accordance to the celestial environment, as above, so below. And of course, the one becomes the many in the great emanations of the tree of life, the fundamental aspects of the creator being wisdom and love, the positive and negative, or masculine and feminine nature of the deity, and then trickling down lightning bolts fashion all the way down into the physical realm, where right now it's considered the fallen world because we've disobeyed the internal laws of the creator and hence live in the fallen world. And then there's the lower worlds. Our goal is to bring the fallen world back up into the fourth dimension, start living fourth dimension lifestyle in Yesod, activating beauty, perception of beauty of life. God is the good and the beautiful, the truthful, the wise, and the loving. Activating Da'ath, the secret Sephiroth, which unlocks the knowledge and keys to occult science and all religious philosophy. Yod-He-Vav-He is the breath of life, the breath that animates the physical realm, the physical entities, so that they can acquire eternal immortal vessels to take back to cause with the experience that they've had. And that Yod-He-Vav-He principle that unmanifest becomes manifest, Yeshua, Tippereth. And the Word was made flesh, hence the mythological allegorical tale of the Christ. The Christ dwells in man, man's higher spiritual immortal nature within the physical realm. Jesus goes into the underworld and frees the souls trapped there, and that's exactly what happens within us allegorically, as our inner soul takes on the lower entities within our subconscious and infraconscious realms, stemming from the lower aspects of the tree of life, and it's transmuted into something higher, something more great. Just like in the Upanishads, it says after death of the physical body, the soul comes and decides to find a more finer form to dwell within, because each layer of reality you must have a conscious body to dwell in. The physical realm is not the only plane of expression. There's the angelic hierarchy, there's the 9 planets, and God's different functions as he operates the external and internal worlds. So God appears as the physical sun in the physical world, and then through the divine teachers and the divine higher mind of the minds of men and women, and then in the higher dimension it has its own local existence, where it moves and lives and has its own being, just as we do.